there are plenty of guys that are stuck on the bench waiting for their moment.
Really excited of who we have in the building right now, starting with Tyrod, a guy that's been around the league.
So with that, let's get into it. 10 backup quarterbacks who are just waiting for the right opportunity to take over as QB1. Marcus Mariota, Washington Commanders, free agent. It feels like a lifetime ago that Marcus Mariota was lighting up college football at Oregon, winning the Heisman Trophy and getting drafted second overall to be Tennessee's next great quarterback. Well, now he's a journeyman bouncing from team to team, waiting for another shot. But here's the thing, Mariota can still play. In 2024, he spent most of the season holding a clipboard in Washington behind Jaden Daniels, getting a handful of snaps and gadget plays designed by Cliff Kingsbury. But man, when he got an actual chance to play, he delivered. He appeared in 6 games, albeit mostly in garbage time, but in the 2 contests where he played major minutes, he looked outright dynamic. Dare I say, shades of his former self at Oregon. The Commanders even used him alongside Daniels in short yardage packages, giving defenses a completely different look with 2 quarterbacks on the field at the same time. Mariota's performance was good enough to earn a new contract with a club that'll consider him a potential starter, which, given Daniels' ascension, clearly won't happen in Washington. At this point, we know exactly what he is. A mobile quarterback who can make plays outside the pocket, extend drives with his legs, and keep a team competitive. No, he's not going to sling it like Mahomes or pick apart defenses like Burrow, but he doesn't have to. It feels like it's time for another team to give him another shot at a starting job. Jameis Winston, Cleveland Browns, free agent. The Jameis Winston experience is not for the faint of heart. It is chaotic. It is unpredictable. It is the football version of riding a roller coaster with no seatbelt. But here's the thing, it's never boring. Yeah, we all remember the 30 interception season in Tampa. I mean, how could you forget something like that? But that same year, he also threw for over 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns. That kind of pure production is rare, and it proves that when Winston is on, he can light up any defense in the league. And we saw flashes of that brilliance, admittedly alongside some of the blunders, during his time in Cleveland. Winston is also a beloved character in the league. Over the years, he's certainly matured, learning from Drew Brees and Sean Payton in New Orleans. But he's still got a huge arm, the charismatic leadership, and the fearlessness to push the ball downfield. And now, he's a free agent again. And there are at least 5 to 10 teams out there who could really use him as a starter. Just saying, the man should not be relegated to backup duties that he's taken in recent years. Sam Howell, Seattle Seahawks. Much like Jameis Winston, Sam Howell is the type of quarterback who keeps you watching, for better or for worse. One play, he's dropping a dime 50 yards downfield like he's the second coming of Brett Favre. The next, well, he's holding on to the ball for an eternity, taking a sack so bad that you start questioning whether the game is moving too fast for him. Yep, that was the Sam Howell experience in Washington. Flashes of brilliance completely overshadowed by poor decision-making, questionable pocket presence, and an offense that led the league in sacks taken. In his defense, however, he was largely thrust into the starting job out of necessity. The former 5th-round pick wasn't exactly handpicked to be the guy. And while he may not have proven that he's the guy yet, he has shown that he has the ability to sling it with the best of them and lead an offense at least for stretches. Now he's in Seattle backing up Geno Smith. And honestly, that might be the best thing for him. Sitting behind a veteran like Geno for a year, working with a competent offensive staff, and learning in a more stable system might actually be what Howell needed. Let's all hope that we see another team around the league take a shot on him, because he has all the moxie that you love to see out of your quarterback. Kirk Cousins, Atlanta Falcons. It seems like the Kirk Cousins experiment in Atlanta is largely over, barring a meltdown from second-year signal caller Michael Penix Jr. Just a year ago, Cousins was viewed in Atlanta as the final piece of the puzzle. The Falcons had a solid defense, elite weapons in Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, and Drake London, and a desperate need for a competent quarterback. Cousins was supposed to be that guy, but he barely made it through a season. Coming off a brutal torn Achilles, Cousins struggled to find his rhythm. His accuracy, once his calling card, wavered. His ability to move in the pocket, never his strength, and it only got worse. By the end of 2024, Atlanta had seen enough, and the team handed the keys over to rookie Michael Penix Jr. It's kind of hard to imagine that the Falcons are going to keep him around as an expensive backup, meaning they'll probably eat some money to move on. And the rest of the NFL? Well, they're probably wondering how much Cousins has left in the tank. But hey, let's not close the curtains on on Kirk just yet. Maybe he just needed another full year to recover from that Achilles tear. Maybe he just needs a fresh start somewhere else. Maybe he's got one more playoff run in him before he rides off into the sunset to stick it to the doubters and critics one last time. Kenny Pickett, Philadelphia Eagles. Kenny Pickett was supposed to be the guy in Pittsburgh. Local kid, first-round pick, hard-nosed, blue-collar quarterback that Steelers fans could really rally around. But sadly, that never came to fruition. He stuck out like a sore thumb on an otherwise talented team and was kind of just there. So when the Steelers had the chance to reset the quarterback room, they didn't hesitate. But we may be seeing a bit of a revitalization of Kenny Pickett sitting behind Jalen Hurts in Philly. Most of his time on the field was mop-up duty, but he did play pretty dang well down the stretch against the Commanders in relief of Jalen Hurts. Who knows? Maybe all he really needs is a better system. If he connects with the right OC elsewhere, and the team puts enough weapons around him, we could see a great redemption story here. Tyrod Taylor, New York Jets. Tyrod Taylor has had one of the most brutally unlucky careers in NFL history. Back in Buffalo, he led the Bills to their first playoff appearance in nearly 2 decades. We'll need to be shown the door from Mr. Josh Allen, which, yeah, that's fair. Then, in Cleveland, he was supposed to be the bridge QB for Baker Mayfield, until an injury cost him his job mid-season. Then came his worst luck yet in Los Angeles, where a botched painkiller injection from the Chargers medical staff punctured his lung, opening the door for Justin Herbert to take his job for good. But now that Aaron Rodgers is clearing out in New York, finally, another opportunity may have opened up for Taylor to get back in the starting lineup. And if you ask us, he certainly deserves it. The guy is a consummate pro and can run an offense and lead a team. Let's hope that he finally gets the shot that he truly deserves in New York, because if not, he could definitely start somewhere else. Justin Fields, Pittsburgh Steelers, free agent. It still remains to be seen if Pittsburgh will re-sign Justin Fields, but, well, let's get one thing straight. He's more than likely gonna get a chance to start again this year. Before Mike Tomlin made the ill-fated decision to hand the offense over to Russell Wilson midway through last season, Fields had led the team to a 4-2 start. We all saw how last season ended with Wilson at the helm, with the Steelers losing 5 straight to end the season. So it's unlikely that they'll want to run it back with him. Of course, with Fields' unceremonious benching, the reality is that he may not want to continue with the Steelers. But if he's not starting in Pittsburgh, then he should be somewhere else for sure. Granted, Fields is still a bit of a wide variance quarterback, but he has done very well to raise his floor and improve his consistency as a decision maker and a passer. 2025 could, and heck, maybe even should, be the year for Justin Fields. Daniel Jones, Minnesota Vikings. It's been a long and tumultuous road for Daniel Jones in the NFL. He went from leading the Giants to the playoffs in 2022 to getting intermittently benched in 2023 and then released in 2024. A fall from grace that was as swift as it seemed inevitable. Injuries certainly didn't help, but the reality is that New York paid him like a franchise quarterback, and he never played like one. That said, his physicality still has what teams look for in the starting quarterback. He's 6'5", athletic, and has enough arm talent to make all the necessary throws. He just never was able to put it all together consistently. And what makes this all the more interesting is that he surprisingly landed in Minnesota, where he served as depth behind Darnold, but he also got a chance to link up with Kevin O'Connell, who's proven to be a true quarterback whisperer, and is a guy who revitalized the careers of the aforementioned Darnold and Kirk Cousins. Who knows what happens with Darnold this offseason, or with J.J. McCarthy's development? Maybe Minnesota is the place for Jones for a couple of years. He has enough physical skills and was clearly a victim in some ways of the Giants' ineptitudes. And, well, he shouldn't be fully out of chances quite yet. Jake Browning, Cincinnati Bengals. Jake Browning went from a complete unknown to nearly becoming the NFL's next great underdog story in 2023. When Joe Burrow went down, everyone counted the Bengals out. Browning was a relatively unknown backup lurking on the depth chart without any real chance of getting on the field. But when he finally stepped in, oh yeah, he proved that he belonged in the conversation for a starting job somewhere in a major way. Over 9 games, 7 as a starter, Browning completed over 70% of his passes, threw 12 touchdowns to just 7 interceptions, and he kept the Bengals in the playoff race longer than anyone expected. Of course, his job as a starter isn't going to be in Cincinnati as long as Burrow is healthy, but after what he showed in 2023, at some point, he will, or at least should, see some team take a serious look at him as a potential starter. Joe Flacco, Indianapolis Colts. With each passing year, the Joe Flacco story becomes a little bit more ridiculous. He's obviously not the same guy that he was a decade ago when he led Baltimore on that ridiculous ridiculous Super Bowl run. But we're just a couple years removed from Flacco delivering one of the best comeback stories that the game has ever seen when he came off the bench to lead the Browns to a miraculous postseason appearance. Now he's with the Colts, where he backs up Anthony Richardson. But even last year we saw him make a couple of appearances due to Richardson's shaky, to put it lightly, play. If Richardson gets hurt again or his performance continues to wane, Flacco could absolutely step in and keep Indy competitive, or join up with another team that needs a veteran to stabilize their quarterback room. But hey, which of the top NFL backup quarterbacks do you think should be a starter somewhere else? Where do you think they should go? Was there anyone that we may have missed? Let us know in the comment section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps us out a ton, and we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea, because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.